2, 1. We are live for a new episode of the Electrek podcast. I'm Fred Lambert, your host, and as usual, I'm joined by Seth Wincham. How are you doing this week, Seth?
I'm good.
You're ready to start. We have plenty to talk about. We have Tesla that unveiled the Megablock / Megapack 3. We have a little exit letter that was very interesting from a Tesla engineers that kind of exposed Elon Musk's betrayal of the Tesla mission. We have a little update on the Cybertruck's wireless charging that we talked a little bit about last week after Porsche unveiled its own. Then we have a bunch of EVs that were unveiled, whether they're full EVs, whether they're prototypes, at IAA in Munich this week. All right, let's jump. Let's start with the Megablock and Megapack that was unveiled on Monday night. It was unveiled sort of in the margins of the big RE Plus Renewable Energy Convention in Las Vegas. Though Tesla did it at their, well, it's not theirs, it's the Boring Company's Loop Network thing. But the event was powered by Megapack and Cybertruck too, by bidirectional charging, which was pretty cool. So there's kind of two products unveiled at this event, but mainly it's the Megapack 3. So it's a new version of the Megapack with the biggest difference being a new, bigger cell being used in it, a new 2.8 liter battery cell. So it's not Tesla cells, but it was developed, with its supplying partners, battery cell suppliers. Enables an upgrade from 3.9 megawatt hour at the Megapack 2 to 5 megawatt hours now for the new Megapack 3. But then the thing is now Tesla is sort of combining the Megapack 3 into a new product called the Megablock, which consists of 4 Megapack 3s, so 20 megawatt hour of energy storage capacity, but it's now connected to a new megavolt transformer switch gear in sort of like its old block products. Obviously, this needs to be assembled on site, unlike the Megapack that can just be packed in a container. But it's seen as like one product because, according to Mike Snyder, Tesla's VP of Energy and Charging, it reduced installation time by 23%, which due to more assembly that can be made at the factory rather than on site. It also increases the energy density per acre to now 248 megawatt hour per acre that can be deployed at the utility scale. Snyder said that Tesla is preparing to build a Megapack starting in late 2026, and it's going to be in Houston, Texas. So it's we reported earlier this year at Electrek that Tesla surprised with the acquisition of a new location just outside of Houston, and that was going to be the second mega factory in the US with Electrek, but the third mega factory to produce the Megapack with Shanghai also entering production earlier this year. So for now, Tesla appears to still be producing the Megapack 2 in those two factories in late California and Shanghai, but the new factory in Texas is going to be for specifically the Megapack 3, which then is going to be combined as a Megablock for new Tesla utility scale energy storage customers. It looks like a significant improvement, significant like an incremental improvement over Tesla's existing product. Again, mostly because of the new battery cells, but also through this new architecture here with a simpler bus bar assembly that reduced the number of connector greatly. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it was like a significant percentage of reduction in wiring and connection. And this new transformer, which there was some confusion about the transformer. During the event, Snyder said that they're going to work with suppliers and everything, but then Elon Musk on X after the event said that Tesla's going to produce its own transformer. It might be one of those situation where Tesla engineers learned about the production of new transformer from that tweet itself. And Tesla, from what we hear, Tesla is not really advanced in that project. And of course, we reported earlier this year that Drew Baglino started Iran Power to do just that, to produce transformer and he recruited a lot, and I mean a lot, of Tesla's top power electronics engineers, because obviously Baglino was for years Tesla's the main guy when it comes to power electronics, and he led a lot of the teams that developed a lot of the inverters, whether it be at the energy storage product like the power walls and the Megapack and Power Pack, or also Tesla's electric vehicle inverters and power electronics. And he recruited a lot of the top talent for that and brought them to Aeron Power to develop their own solid state transformer, which has a similar solution as this. So it does look like Tesla kind of playing a little catch up here and trying to develop their own transformer and switchgear to be able to connect that to the new Megapack 3 for this new Megablock product. All right, we have, speaking of Tesla Energy, we have a Tesla auto bidder engineer, one of the top, if not the top auto bidder engineer in Europe, Joe Balestri. I'm not sure if I pronounced his last name correctly, but an 8-year veteran of Tesla. Most recently was one of the algorithm engineer for AutoBidder, which is Tesla's real-time trading control platform for energy assets like Megapacks. And he announced his departure. Say that again?
I didn't say anything. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I got something. He announced his departure on a post on LinkedIn yesterday. And it started making the rounds on social media and in the media now, because he made an interesting statement in there. Most of the post, to be fair, is around just, his accomplishment, him and his team at Tesla over the last 8 years, mostly in accelerating the deployment and optimizing the deployment of energy storage through Megapack, Power Pack, and Powerwalls. But the most interesting part of his basically its exit letter that he made public through LinkedIn is that he stated that the main reason, the elephant in the room, was Elon Musk, and that's his betrayal basically of the mission is why he left. I'm going to cite him because I think it was a very eloquent letter. All this being said, again, he said that after listing the achievements at Tesla for the last 8 years. I do need to address the elephant in the room. The main reason I'm leaving is that I think Elon has dealt huge damage to Tesla's mission and to the health of democratic institutions in civil countries. That's quite the statement here, and I kind of agree with it. Beyond that, Elon's leadership and decision-making seems seriously compromised. Given his huge and growing inexplicably stake in Tesla, he's referencing the new compensation package, I can convince myself anymore that this is the right place to be. This is not just about politics. It's about lying to the public, manipulating public discourse, targeting minorities, and supporting climate change deniers and political forces aligned with the oil and gas industry. I think it's fairly indisputable that the current U.S. administration is slowing down the energy transition. Unfortunately, speed is critical if we are to avert the worst consequences of climate change. So this is a pretty strong statement, Seth.
Yep.
Address very shortly. Address a lot of the problems that we've been citing with Elon Musk for a while. The main one for us, especially when it relates to Electrek, is what is counter to the mission, the betrayal to the mission here, which is highlighted in his statement through a bunch of different things. But the main one, obviously, is the backing of the current administration in the U.S., which is filled with climate change deniers and people who have implemented policies, active policies right now that are undoubtedly slowing the transition to renewable energy and electric transport, which was Tesla's core mission for years. So obviously, a lot of the people that joined Tesla for that mission, which sounds like the case here for Mr. Balestri, sorry if I messed up your last name, it's demoralizing. It feels like counterproductive, where like you put so much work, so much effort into that mission, and then the CEO of the company, who gets rewarded with more shares in the company, is clearly working against the mission with hundreds of millions of dollars into politics, into campaigns from politicians that are actively trying to slow down that mission. It feels super counterproductive. And also, he touched two other things that I thought was interesting, like, beyond just that, Elon's leadership and decision making seems seriously compromised. He's made a lot of stupid mistakes that just doesn't make sense. Like, Tesla not launching any other vehicle in the past 5 years other than the Cybertruck, which has been a commercial flop. Betting the whole house on AI, on autonomous driving and robots, while neglecting of Tesla's very successful EV business. A bet doesn't really seems like it was warranted. Even if you do believe in autonomous driving and robotics, it feels like Tesla could have, worked in that direction without giving up on EVs, which seems to be what's happening to a certain degree. I know, Tesla is down like 12% in EV deliveries this year. It doesn't sound like much, but when you were growing at 30-50% a year, it's quite a reversal.
Yeah, second year in a row too.
Second year, and next year looks like it's going to be likely worse based on the current conditions.
No tax incentives. Yeah.
Based on the fact that the US is Tesla's LTS market, and it likely won't be for EVs next year, while Europe is going down like a rock, and China is down 12%, I think, also this year in deliveries, and probably is going to get worse because competition is just eating up. Even touch on another thing that, personally, one of the things that hurts me the most with Elon is the lies. Like, he's consistently being caught lying on Twitter, just consistently. Like, it's an every week, if not every day thing, where he posts something that is clearly false and could be easily verified if he took a second. Which leads people to think that he might actually be actively lying rather than just being wrong. And it's extremely divisive what he's posting. Just what we saw just this week in the US with the Charlie Kirk situation, which is tragedy. And the first thing he posts is just inciting more violence against the left, even though we had no facts whatsoever about who killed him. It seems completely irresponsible. It seems to bring chaos more than anything else, and there's no positive coming out of that. Feels like so. It's hard to be working for someone like that, and it looks like that's what Gregorio here, Giorgio, posted. And I share a lot of his feelings. And I don't blame Seth, but I don't blame anyone working at Tesla right now, because I see a lot of that in the comments sometimes at Electrek or social media posts that, like, how can you work at Tesla at all? Like, you can still work at Tesla and contribute to the mission meaningfully. So if that's your focus, like, obviously, like, no one can blame you for doing that. And also at the same time, if you have a job right now in the current economic situation, I would kind of hold on to it if I'm honest with you, because I think it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better.
So let's back out of this a little bit. How does Tesla get out of this? And also, how does Elon Musk think that Tesla is going to back out of this? So he thinks that they're going to get full self-driving in a year. It's always a year. And that's going to spur demand, and the robots are going to start being bought, and that's going to spur demand, a new revenue stream. Like, I don't think a lot of people outside of Tesla shareholders are putting a lot of stake in that. Mm-hmm. So how do they get, like, realistically, how do they get out of this funk they're in?
I mean, I've kind of laid it out in my own master plan part 4 before Tesla released their own. I think to truly get out of this fully, you need to get rid of Elon and then take very specific steps to make things right with customers, reinforce the EV lineup, and approach autonomous driving in a more truthful and transparent way. That said, to be honest with you, like, now I don't see. Well, I mean, even when I wrote that, I was very well aware that I don't think that I put very little chances of it happening. But now, since he released the master plan part 4 back right away with the new compensation plan, and to me, it looks very clear that Tesla is executing their plan very well, where Tesla's going to have a great Q3. there's no doubt the Q3 is going to be very good because of the tax credit, all the demand being pulled forward. Europe is still bad. China is still not very good. It's again like down 10-12% this year, and it looks like it's going to be down this quarter too, unless Tesla pulls a crazy end of September, which is not impossible but unlikely in my opinion. But the US compensate for the whole thing. Also, South Korea doing great, Turkey doing great, but those are going to slow down a lot, especially Turkey, because there was a similar situation as in the US, really, with demand being pulled forward for incentive regions. So Q3 is going to be great. So it's going to be good for Tesla right now, and then earnings are going to come out later. Late October, and then within weeks after that, Tesla holds its shareholder meeting. Just Elon's gonna go real thick with all the autonomous stuff again, all the robot stuff, and they will be coming out of the release of V14 for FSD, which is gonna be like a significant improvement. I would hope so, because there've been no improvement to FSD all year since FSD 13. V13, there have been no improvements. So it's going to be a big step. Still not going to be anywhere near the promise of unsupervised self-driving, but still an improvement. So they're going to use all the momentum of that, of Q3, V14, and all that to secure Elon's performance package again, compensation package, and cement him really as take away the last chance that shareholders can get him out, basically, which is to vote against the two board members that are up for a re-election. So this is going to be the last chance, and shareholders going to let that happen easily. And then what is going to happen is that there's going to be more mispromises, more delays on autonomous driving, more delays on robots. EV sales are going to keep going down. But how Tesla needs to do is keep the illusion going for as long as they can, until they can actually solve autonomy, which I think they will, probably within the next 2 years or so. But it won't be faster than the current players in autonomy, like Waymo, like Zoox, that announced this week too, a launch of a commercial service in Las Vegas. Like, there's already companies ahead of Tesla there, and then Tesla is carrying a giant liability of having promised full self-driving unsupervised on millions of vehicles that it cannot deliver. But as long as they can keep the hope going until they can actually solve it, they're going to survive. It's just probably in a state that's going to be a lot less impressive than shareholders think right now.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from this, we also have a little update on the Cybertruck. So you mentioned this last week, Seth, when we talked about Porsche releasing wireless self-driving on wireless charging on the new Cayenne Electrek coming. You said, "Hey, wasn't Tesla supposed to do that?" They had unveiled this image here where they said that our wireless charger was coming, and then the Cybertruck was also equipped with the receiver, the connector for the receiver for a wireless charger. Well, now Wes Morrill, was the lead engineer on the Cybertruck, has confirmed that Tesla has given up on bringing that. Yes, they were preparing for it, but on a Discord post, he said nothing planned there. Plus, charging for something as far off the ground as Cybertruck is silly. You need a base station that's like 6 inches tall. The main reason we didn't make the trunk tub, well, then he explained why people thought where the receiver will go, but I mean, the connector was there, but there was also another reason to make it not leave an empty space there, is because people were not going to be able to reach it anyway if you use it as a trunk tub. But anyway, so giving up on wireless charging for a Cybertruck, I guess kind of still alive for Robotaxi. That was also linked. The product was also linked to wireless charging, but at the same time, I wouldn't give so much hope. Honestly, I don't really understand Morrill's excuse here for not actually releasing this on Cybertruck. I think the reason's a little bit different, because this sounds like a very solvable problem. Honestly, like, just you can make a taller base station. The Cybertruck is going to drive over it anyway. So, if your goal is to reduce the space between the receiver and the ground wireless charger, just you can make it taller. It's very possible. Now that said, I think the real reason behind it is like it's not worth it. Like it would have been worth it to make a product like that for the Cybertruck if the Cybertruck was selling in the hundreds of thousands of units per year, like Tesla was planning it to. But now that they can barely sell 20,000 units a year, it doesn't make that much sense to release something for such a small market that would be probably super expensive, like we talked about with the Porsche Cayenne too. It's not a product for everyone. It's really expensive to do. So yeah, I think that's probably the main reason. And also, like we always sell, wireless charging for electric vehicle, it solves a problem that's like very small. It's a very small problem of just having to get up your ass and like plug the car. It takes a second. It's not that big of a deal. And so it's just, there's not that much value to be added while solving this issue. Am I right?
Yeah,
Sir?
and I feel like they could do some more elegant things. Like, what if you had like a magnet, like on the top of a charger, and like it was like dangling. You just drove your car in, and the magnet was just like, like there's lots of ways to do it. That
I know,
I mean,
I know what you mean. I would be concerned if like it hits like the paint or something, like it could be a
yeah, I
problem. But
mean,
like even just a more like low level robot robot arm that just plug it in if you need to. Like Tesla already showed that way back when. In it already that made a little bit more sense to me than wireless charging. And maybe like cost wise it was a little bit more difficult back then, but nowadays like these type of armed robots are a lot cheaper, so I'm sure there's something to be done there.
yeah, I mean, there's got to be a better way, I think. And
Hmm.
you think about like, all right, so you got the induction charging, that's fine, but then you lose all the heat and all the, the efficiency is like below 90%.
Hmm.
So you're losing a lot of electricity over the years that you use it. It's it's worth the extra effort to make a direct line charging, which isn't rocket science. Like you can do that.
Yeah, very doable. I mean, I've been owning EVs and driving EVs for like almost a decade now, and I think I can count on one hand the number of times I actually like forgot to plug in the car. Like it's that,
Yes.
that difficult. Speaking of charging, the Tesla Supercharger, Volkswagen, or VW more specifically, is kind of the lone wolf out of the game for the Supercharger access in North America, but they did comment this week. So with earlier this month, with Porsche and Audi getting access to the Supercharger network in North America, both of them being part of the Volkswagen group, we thought, all right, they probably getting closer because now of all the major automakers, only VW is not onboarded in the program. And this week they said that they released a statement to PC Mag. They said Volkswagen looks forward to making it possible for ID Buzz and ID.4 vehicle owners to gain access to the Tesla NACS partner superchargers. The timeline has been delayed by technical challenges, and we asked for customers' patience. We still expect to deliver access this year. So they're still aiming for the end of the year, or just like it's just over 3 months left, so they have to hurry up to make that timeline. But they didn't go into the details of what technical challenges they're talking about. We know that a lot of automakers have ran into delays with being onboarded in the program, mainly because like Tesla fired the entire team last year, and that created a lot of delays and everything. But Volkswagen seems to be not just like caught in that, but like there seems to be a lot of problems on their end too. And that's not too surprising because the company has had a lot of issues with software. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's on their hand for that. They're supposed to get better with the software now. They had their partnership with Rivian, and Rivian's going to take over a lot of their software. I think that's probably going to be a good thing.
Can't be worse.
Yeah, exactly. At IAA in Munich this week, there was a bunch of new vehicle unveiling, including the ID.Cross, which is going to be the VW's second like entry level EV after the Polo that we talked about last week or a few weeks ago. Now this is basically a T-Rock as an electric version of the T-Rock, and it's called the ID.Cross. Wasn't there not another ID.Cross back in the day?
Yeah, I feel like that was Cross. and it was more like a station wagon. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a station wagon. You're right.
And it was a ZZ, not SS.
Ah, yeah, Cross. You're right. I think you're right. Yeah, they unveiled this. This is still a concept, but they say it's pretty close to the production version. And to be honest, it looks like it. There's a few like design accent, a little bit more concepty, but for the most part, it looks like this is gonna be it. And it looks basically like a cross between like a little. There's no. I hate when that doesn't work. Um, it looks like a cross between an hatchback, a compact hatchback, and a low crossover kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not that familiar with a T-Roc, to be honest with you, the gasoline version. Here's the interior, very, very minimalist, simple interior, but looks nice.
Yeah.
I do like the latest steering wheel for Volkswagen. It is similar to in the ID Buzz. Oh, I don't know if I like the buttons on these seats though, but other than that, looks really good. What do they have on specs here? Specs, so using the MEB platform, drive system, 208 horsepower, 155 kilowatts, front-mounted front-wheel drive motor. Okay, a range of 420 kilometers, 260 miles. That's on WLTP. So that still should be over 200 miles on EPA if it ever gets to North America, which again I have doubts. It's gonna go into production debut first half of 2026. The price will be revealed closer to launch, but it is expected to be below the ID.4, which starts at the equivalent of 41,000 in Europe. So it's gonna be probably closer to a $35,000 vehicle, but again with VAT and everything, because that's Europe. And it's probably too small for North America, according to Germans.
Right. It reminds me of the Kia Soul a little bit, which of course they can't bring here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be probably a Bolt EV competitor in North America. Like there's a market for this. They should give it a shot.
Yeah, like a Volvo EX30 a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Page is not backing up. I'm not sure what's happening with my page here. Okay. Moving on, we have the new GLC from Mercedes that's also been unveiled at IAA. So it's fully like next generation electric powertrain for Mercedes. The design accent have been changed a little bit too. It's it's stray away from what we know from the EQ lineup. It's a little bit more traditional for Mercedes, and it packs quite a powertrain, 94 kilowatt-hour battery pack on an 800-volt system, 10 to 80% in about 25 minutes. That's 160 miles of range added over that period of time, or up to 160 in just 10 minutes if you use the WLTP standard. You have the dual motor version, and that does 0 to 60 in 4.4, and then you have the rear-wheel drive version that does it just under 6. There's a 2-speed transmission on this, which is interesting. It's something that's not really common for EVs, but they decided to do with it to have a little bit more efficiency at high speed while having a little bit more torque and at launch and for towing capacity. So it's a 11 to 1 first and second 5 to 1 gear ratio.
Yeah, Porsche does that with the Taycan. I think it makes sense for Autobahn cars sometimes.
Yeah, probably the specific use here, high speed for longer distances. Charging network, well, it's going to be NACS native in the US. Towing up to 5,300 pounds. That's nice. There's the big hyper screen in there. So here's some of the images. I really like the design. I think they nailed it a lot better than the EQ era vehicle.
Yeah.
I think it feels a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more Mercedes. Charging 330 kilowatt peaks, very good through 2025 EV. The air suspension, you have the aromatic Mercedes suspension that you can have in there, but it's going to be optional. Probably going to be quite expensive to add to the vehicle. Range, the shared 713 kilometers, 443 miles range for the WLTP cycle, and they do expect EPA to be around 350 miles. So that's pretty good too. The interior here, I showed it with the AMG version here in a kind of brown beige, which I think is pretty nice. Because you do get an AMG version on this. You have the giant hyper screen here, 39-inch screen visible. Some people think that the front fascia, the grille, is a little bit over the top. It's a pixelated grille with lights in it.
It is
I
a
do
little
enjoy
bit.
it.
It's a
It's
lot.
big. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot. But I just had the Cadillac Escalade for a week, and it also
Yeah.
has a similar type of lighting grill, fake grill inside, and I ended up liking it quite a bit. With Mercedes, obviously the logo is now, but that's the thing that they've been doing for a little bit now. There's just a giant logo in the front. I think that maybe that feels a bit much more like the combination of that plus the pixelated grill makes it a bit much. I understand the complaints there, but honestly, it's kind of it's subjective at least. It's a design. And this is basically going to be their big competitor for the iX3 that was unveiled earlier this month from BMW. So also going to kind of go after maybe the higher end of the Tesla Model Y, especially like maybe the new Model Y L. So it's gonna attack the higher end of that lineup. Obviously, the Model Y starts a lot cheaper and is maybe a little bit less luxurious than this. All right, we also have the Polestar 5 GT that was unveiled this week with the full specs. And I really like the design language from Polestar where they're going with this. It's it kind of looks a little bit, reminds me a little bit of the Audi that we saw, the Audi that's supposed to bring clarity to the Audi brand concept that was unveiled a few weeks ago. Kind of a similar vibe here, but looks like a very sporty sedan. Look at that. I like it.
Yeah. It's almost weird seeing sedans, as an American. Like, you
What
only get
is
a
that?
view. Like, why is that SUV so short?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming this week, and it's just pickup trucks and SUVs. Literally,
Yeah.
nothing else. Like we were being shuttled around in a Tahoe, and it's like feel like a normal car there, when the Tahoe is like a huge SUV.
Yeah.
All right, what specs do we have on this? Also, a 800-volt platform, 250 kilowatt charging, 0.24 drag coefficient. Really nice. Similar interior that you're familiar with Polestar, with the Android-based automotive system, 14.5 display. It comes with a dual motor, 112 kilowatt hour battery pack, 550 kilowatts of power, 0 to 16, 3.8 seconds. The level 2 charging is up to 19 kilowatts. I already shared the fast charging at 350. Then you can have the performance version too, which increase the motor capacity to 650 kilowatts, so 100 kilowatts more. And the 0 to 60 comes down to 3.1 seconds. There's a full ADAS system powered by 11 camera, plus driver monitoring camera, 1 mid-range radar, and 12 ultrasonic sensors. Starting price 119,000 euros, $139,000. So it's not a cheap vehicle, but it's a nice looking GT from Polestar. Obviously, like kind of a Model S competitor type thing. Oops. What's going on with the backing up when the site doesn't work anymore? Not sure what's that about. All right. Moving on from that, Ford shook up a little bit its Lightning lineup this week. So I didn't follow this news too closely. I just shipped it to Peter, but it's the new STX, which gonna replace the XLT. Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna get a bit confusing. STX is the new 2026 mid range, I guess, variant of the Ford Lightning, replacing the XLT. And the new variant brings some serious upgrade, including the new dual motor system for 436 horsepower, so almost 100 more than the XLT, 775 foot-pound of torque. Now it feature 123 kilowatt-hour extended range battery pack for an estimated EPA range of 290. The previous XLT was featuring only the 98 kilowatt-hour pack, so you have a bigger pack now on the mid-range version. What else is different? You also get the off-road upgrades on this, which I think were optional for the XLT. You have some new badging in the inside. You can see it's not the most luxurious inside from the Lightning lineup, but it's an upgrade from the base version. And then the pricing is starting at $63,245. So that's the same price. You get a much bigger battery pack. So not a bad deal.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Certainly get this over the base Cybertruck, which, they kind of completely voided of important features. All right, we have two more news items we want to discuss before we jump into the comments section. I see we have a lot of comments today. I appreciate that. I know that we haven't been back to our regular time in a long time, so I guess a lot of the usual faces are here. I see Dan, I see Skeptic here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. So if you have any question for us, it can be about any of the topics that we discussed today. Put them in the comment section right now when I get to it in just a few minutes. Or it can be about anything else that you want us to discuss in the EV world or the renewable energy world. We love to talk about that stuff. Is that right, Seth?
That's right.
All right. How many times I've said it in the last few months that I think it's happening for solid-state batteries. I think finally it's not the technology of the future now. It's going to happen by the end of the decade. Within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to get full production vehicle with solid-state battery. And this week, we had two big upgrades. I don't know if I didn't catch the Wheelie podcast this morning, but was it QuantumScape that did it with Ducati? Now there's going to be a Ducati that's going to have a full solid-state batteries in it. So they actually did that, full prototype. And now Mercedes had outfitted an EQS with a solid-state battery, and they drove it over 750 miles on a single charge, and there was still some left, right? From Stuttgart, Germany to Malmö, Sweden, covering 750 miles, 1,205 kilometers, and the modified EV, so a production EV, but with a battery pack with solid-state battery, still. So you're getting like very close to basically a 900-mile vehicle with the same form factor. Now, I don't know if I hope they didn't hyper mileage this, but they talk about a 25% increase in usable energy with this. And this was done with the help of Factorial, which is Mercedes' partner for solid-state batteries. Yeah, someone in the comments on Electrek did mention about the speed of it and everything. Yeah, it would be useful to have the exact methodology here. What did they say here? Compensation. Yeah, there's no methodology on the actual speed that they drove. But 25% increase because 750 miles with 85 remaining does sound like more than a 25% increase in the range from the regular EQS. But again, they might have drove a little bit slower there. Finally, we have an update on Hyundai. Talked a little bit about it last week. ICE did a whole raid on the factory in Georgia where they plan to build electric vehicle batteries. Huge investment from the Korean, huge investment for Hyundai in the US, creates thousands of jobs. And then ICE raided them and detained 475 employees, a lot of them from Korea, on business travel in the US to basically help everyone set up the factories to create those jobs. It created a lot of problems, diplomatic problems with Korea itself. You know, you feel terrible. And I want to be clear, because I think there's a lot of misconception about this issue. Like, Hyundai is not completely not to blame here. There was some issues there where some of these employees were on site with a travel tourist visa rather than a business visa. So technically that's wrong, but to be fair, everyone does that. Like, it's not like completely rare. Like, especially sometimes it's not even their fault, where the way that you apply for your visa between countries that have agreements is automatic. And basically, if the border agent doesn't really ask you and just like stamp it with whatever I think it's a B1 versus a B2 visa, whatever it is. I remember which one is for like tourism and which one is for like regular short-term business travel. It doesn't really matter. So it's on a technicality that felt targeted for no reason. We know that ICE is under a lot of pressure from the Trump administration to bump up arrest and deportation like crazy. They ran on that, and they kind of ran out of bad people to to deport. So now they're deporting literally people that are in the US to train us on how to build batteries and battery factories to create jobs. It's completely counterintuitive. And for Hyundai, it has a direct impact, where Hyundai CEO Jose Munoz announced that the factory would be delayed by at least a few months because of this raid. Which makes sense, because you had hundreds of workers and like critical workers that were detained and then shipped back to Korea because of this. And I don't know if they're gonna be willing to come back anytime soon, because they were sent to a holding facility, a prison, basically for a week or so. It's terrible. It's very bad policies from the US here, but it's par for the course these days. All right, let's jump into the comment section.
All right. So we got some new ones from Volt Connect IO on Twitter. Thanks, Electrek, for always keeping the industry informed. I love this over Bubble Bends. I think that would
on the design.
Yeah. Good evening. 2:03 p.m. here, but need to hear IAA news. Can't get enough of Polestar 5.
The design is solid.
Yeah, I can't wait to drive that thing. That's going to be fun. Brain Drain picks up pace, but stock is up 7% today. Yeah, the stock really has not a lot to do with reality, it seems like. What do you think it's up 7% for today?
Probably a kind of option buying program by some shady people. There's literally no reason for it to go up right now. It's just way up.
All right, our friend Skeptic says, saw that Zoox, which is the Amazon autonomous vehicle, started offering robotaxi service. So I guess they're worth $1 trillion now. Yes, that's how it works. By the way, Zoox vans are my favorite form factor so far for a robotaxi. Yeah, they're the kind of like square things.
Yeah, like van type doors, easy to get in, easy to get out. It makes a lot of sense for that. They started operation in Las Vegas. They've been testing them there for years. Now they are officially starting commercial operation. So they are technically ahead of Tesla, because Tesla is trying to start operation in Nevada. They just obtained their first permit for it, but they are not nowhere near lunchtime yet for a real, driverless, supervisor-less service like Zoox, like Waymo.
All right. Dan says, I agree with Giorgio. I was frustrated with Elon, but drew the line at being frustrated with Tesla. The company's mission statement still is something I can support. I think, maybe not the latest, what is it? The master plan. Yeah. That kind of went off the rails a little bit.
I wonder, as Tesla officially now, like what's the Tesla's official mission, Jean? Mission statement. What's if we go accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy? Yeah, it's still that.
So that
So they haven't
robot.
changed it to the abundance, like all AI utopian nonsense that was in the master plan part 4.
All right, a lot of Zooks love here. Maybe we need to dive into that a little bit more. Zooks are amazing. Proper robotaxi with intelligent design. They can go either way. Yeah, that's one of the designs. Is like they can forward, backward. Jess 7 works for Amazon. I've been hearing and seeing discussions about Zooks for a while. Super cool to finally see them come to fruition. Hopefully, the rollout and expansion come quick. It's funny how there's a lot of Bezos, Musk, like rockets and
Rivian.
robotaxis. Yeah, Rivian, all that stuff. The Slate is pretty cool. Yeah. Let's see. Number 1, they need more cars than the 3 and the Y and get rid of the Cybertruck.
Okay, that's when you were asking me like, what's the way out of this? And yeah, in my own master plan part 4 that I posted, like after you get rid of Elon, you make things right with customers regarding FSD. Like one of the main thing is like you need to expand the lineup, use your expertise in ultra efficient electric powertrain, make affordably, and extend the lineup, update the lineup, be a little bit more adventurous when it comes to, what we hear from Tesla is like it's difficult for them to update the Model Y, to update the Model 3 because they're such high volume programs that they don't want to disrupt production. At one point, you have to, otherwise you lose demand, and this is what's happening right now. So you have to do it.
Okay, let's move on. Is Tesla going to become B2B, business to business company? Megapacks, robotaxis, and robots aren't consumer focused products.
Well,
I don't see that.
I think they're saying they are. Robotaxis, it's Tesla's own network, so it's kind of a Uber in that sense. Uber is a consumer product. Then you have robots. They plan to actually sell them to consumer. I don't know who's going to buy it right now, but anyway. So no, I don't see this. I think energy is definitely Tesla's fastest growing segment right now, and that's business to business for the most part because most of that capacity is coming from Megapacks. I mean, the Powerwall is a consumer product. So yeah, there's some of that, but I think Tesla's going to remain a consumer product company.
All right. Question. Do you think the Tesla Lux package is being done to boost FSD numbers? Do you think the Lux package will eventually go to Model Y and 3? The Lux package is a group of add-ons to Model S and Model X, like FSD and some, I don't know,
Supercharger and
right,
premium connectivity and all that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I don't think so because what's maybe as a package, as an optional package, maybe they do that. But like, what's most interesting about the Lux package on Model S and X is that it has been made standard on the Model S and X. So it's like it's not even clear what they call it, the Lux package, because it's just you have to buy it with it, so it's not an option. So maybe they bundle everything and offer it an option, but I don't think they can just make it a standard like they did with Model S and X with Model 3 and Y.
All right, some comments on wireless charging. Carl says makes sense for on-street parking and charging. If we can create a standard, assuming billing is built into that model, yeah, that would be great. Chicken or the egg, though, like.
It's a big investment, though. You have to put that in the ground on the streets. Yeah, I don't see that happening. In Montreal here, we have these Flow street charging station that are hanged up high, and you pull them down and you plug them in, and they are out of the way for passerby and everything fits in a single pole. I think it's a great solution. It makes sense for street parking, for wireless, for charging on the street. I don't think. Yeah, I think wireless charging on the street would be too costly.
All right. James says the wireless charging pad should be able to raise up when it identifies that a Cybertruck is charging. Seems like should be easy for Tesla to make. I mean, if you're doing the raise up thing, you might as well just do the magnet thing. Like at that point, like just magnet charge port right into the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's connected.
So it's not wireless. It's like it's induction, but connected induction, reducing the loss. You mean like?
Yeah, and I mean you could even have it like the magnet, like it could just raise up and then clunk, connect to the car and like.
Mm-hmm. Like having like a charge port underneath the car that automatically connects. Yeah. Yeah, technically, yeah.
All right. Did we see Monroe visited Kempower Durham factory? Kempower is a charging company, not the boss, but at least it didn't seem not the best, probably. Seemed to be paid commercial like the Autel one. That was terrible. I haven't been watching. I don't really watch his stuff
No,
too
I don't
much.
zero trust in Monroe. To be honest with you, like he's a full-on Elon super fan, defender, and all that. I don't think he's to be trusted personally. But Ken Power is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've talked about it quite a bit. A friend of mine owns a station of them, and he's extremely satisfied with it. And he's owned like every charging station that exists out there. So he's a good source on that. And yeah, I was impressed with their hardware. It's pretty cool.
All right. The Cross became the ID.7
Aha.
Farmari station wagon. That's
Yeah,
kind of
that's.
what we were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Garrison says eventually charging must automate. It's the obvious way to go. Maybe wireless or maybe just quick connect. No robot arms. Minimize the connecting hardware. Oh, I have to stop here. WTF? Wait, he doesn't stop here. No tombstones, no cables, no captive drivers while charging. Less charger hardware, more chargers, more obsessing about range and charging speed if you have enough chargers pronto.
Yep, I mean, I share a lot of that sentiment. I think the charging infrastructure is a big part of removing range anxiety and improving just EV adoption in general. And yeah, technically, with autonomy coming, you need, but the wireless charging is so with advanced autonomy, you don't need wireless charging. You need automated charging. That's the only thing you need. And like we just discussed, there's other option than wireless charging for automated charging.
Dan notes that nobody demands hands-free fueling of an ICE vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan.
Yeah, but those are going away.
Yeah.
Mercedes logo is almost as big as VW microbus in the 1970s. That's
I saw that. And reminded me of that too.
hands-free fueling is not just worth the trouble. On the other hand, you could go for full service, and there's a case to be made for it. 50 years ago, they gave me a job for a while, then I really needed one. And I think we're just
All right,
kind of rambling at this point.
We need to bring back full service charging station because I need a job.
I think the real reason to go hands-free charging is because it's yet another advantage for disabled drivers. If you're in a wheelchair, the fueling process has got to be a nightmare. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard. Like if you have a magnet, like a strong magnet, and like you bring the charge port anywhere near the magnet, it just clomps on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done, you just like pull away and the magnet just pops off. Like doesn't seem that hard.
Definitely plenty of solutions capable.
See, Dan says whenever Battery Advance doesn't publish the spider web graph showing all the advantages, disadvantages, I assume they're hiding something.
I mean, the biggest disadvantage from what he's talking about solid state, I would assume here, is cost right now. It's going to be more expensive, but we're going to see it come first in products like we saw this week. The Ducati makes sense there. You need for electric motorcycle needs more energy density now. It's the biggest. It's the only ground transportation vehicle right now that has a trouble being electrified now because of range, because it's hard to pack. There's riders that want to ride for 200 miles in one go before stopping, and to do that you need to be able to pack a lot of capacity in a very small format, two-wheel format. So for that it makes sense, and obviously a Ducati price is not really an issue. Mercedes, people want that 1,000-mile vehicle. I don't see that much value in it personally, but people want it, unless you have a pickup truck. Now we're going to see also those crazy pickup trucks with 1,000 miles and 500 miles towing. You're going to see these things like that being enabled by solid state batteries first at a higher cost, because that's probably the biggest disadvantage of solid state right now, and then it's going to come down market over time.
Yeah, and I wonder if the weight and those kind of advantages will come when solid state kind of matures. Skeptic says, I know they can't do it, but if I were CEO of Hyundai, I would shut down all U.S. operations, including sale of ICE cars. I don't know if that's a financially responsible move. There's probably a better way to complain, and I think probably they're doing plenty of that behind the scenes.
Even Trump, like right away after it happened, he realized that that was probably not the greatest move. Like they saw the issue. I think Korea played it well so far.
Electric Brian says, with Zooks going either way, my wife would have to switch seats every time it changes to not get car sick riding backwards.
Yeah, that can be a problem for some people.
Small price to pay for
Yeah.
that kind of fun stuff.
But I think Zooks right now is focusing more like low speed to like city kind of environment. It's not like it's a different type of product than a lot of the other robo taxi service. So I think it's probably not the biggest issue. All right. Well, that's it for all the comments. I appreciate every one of you that joined us for this electric podcast this week. If you did enjoy the show, if you can give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is on the app you're watching right now, it helps the show a ton. It's free to do. Takes a second. Helps more than you think. We appreciate it when you do. And we're going to see you same time, same place next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.